Welcome to our channel, Bravo News. Inside the McBee dynasty's turbulent present, secrets that could change everything. The dynasty at a crossroads. The McBee ranch had always been more than just land. It was legend, legacy, and the kind of empire that Bravo cameras couldn't resist. For years, the McBee family had let reality TV audiences peek into their sprawling world of cattle, business, and personal entanglements. But in recent months, the glossy facade had started to crack, and now the dynasty was at a dangerous crossroads. Steve McBee Sr., the patriarch, sat on the porch swing of the big ranch house, his weathered hands gripping a glass of bourbon. The misery evening was calm, but inside his mind, a storm raged. For decades, he had built this empire with sweat, risk, and a ruthless drive that some called brilliance and others called recklessness. Now, whispers of federal investigations, business missteps, and family betrayal gnawed at him. "Dad, you're not telling us everything," Stephen Jr. said earlier that afternoon, his sharp eyes betraying the kind of suspicion no father ever wanted to see in his son. That was the problem with dynasties. Secrets never stayed buried forever. Stephen Jr.'s revelation. Stephen Jr., the eldest son, had always been the one to step into his father's boots. Ambitious, polished, and camera-ready, he understood both cattle futures and Instagram influencers. But the pressure of inheriting a shaky empire was starting to erode his confidence. Late one night, scrolling through documents in the ranch office, he discovered contracts that didn't make sense. Offshore investments tied to names he didn't recognize, loans that seemed to vanish into thin air, and a series of payments flagged by the bank. The rumors about FBI eyes on the McBee empire were suddenly less rumor and more reality. "Maybe prison time," he whispered to himself, reading an email thread he wasn't supposed to see. For the first time in his life, Stephen Jr. wondered if he could even save the dynasty or if his father had already doomed it. Galina's secret. Every great dynasty has its wild card, and for the McBees, that was Galina Saltkovska. The glamorous, sharp-tongued woman from Ukraine had always been a lightning rod for speculation. Was she truly in love with Steve Sr., or was she entangled with him for the wealth, the fame, and the power? But Galina carried her own secret, one that could unravel everything if revealed. Hidden deep in her designer bag was a flash drive containing sensitive recordings, conversations she had with Steve Sr. about deals that crossed ethical and perhaps legal boundaries. She never intended to use them until recently when she felt her own position in the family slipping. "Sometimes the only way to protect yourself is to burn everything down," she murmured to herself, staring at her reflection in the mirror, her lips painted the color of danger. Kalah's struggle. Kala Jackson, Stephen Jr.'s former love interest and once a picture-perfect Bravo romance storyline, had moved to Toronto to escape the chaos. Yet the McBee orbit pulled her back in. From afar, she watched the family's downfall play out in tabloids and fan accounts. She had her reasons for staying quiet, reasons that tied directly to secrets Steve Sr. never wanted the world to know. Her late-night phone calls with a Bravo producer hinted at a tell-all appearance that could either expose the truth or save her from ever being pulled into the dynasty again. The choice weighed heavy: remain silent and protect herself, or speak out and destroy the empire for good. The FBI at the door. The morning the black SUVs appeared at the end of the gravel road, the air at the ranch shifted. Agents in dark suits stepped out, the crunch of their boots on stone echoing like a death knell. Steve Sr. had been expecting this moment for weeks, but his family hadn't. "What the hell is going on?" Stephen Jr. demanded, storming out onto the porch. His brothers Cole and Jesse stood behind him, wide-eyed and tense. Steve Sr. raised his hand as though calming cattle about to bolt. "It's just questions," he said, though his voice lacked conviction. The dynasty wasn't just at risk of bad press anymore. It was staring down a collapse that could send McBee men to prison and McBee's secrets into the hands of the federal government. Bravo's dilemma. Behind the scenes, Bravo executives debated furiously. The McBee dynasty had delivered record-breaking ratings, but the potential scandal was bigger than even they could control. Do we pull the plug, or do we lean in? One executive asked in a late-night call. Another answered with a chilling certainty. The more secrets, the better the season. Viewers want blood. But no reality show in history had ever balanced this kind of legal jeopardy. If the wrong footage aired, Bravo itself could be complicit. Still, contracts had been signed, and cameras kept rolling. The McBee dynasty wasn't just reality TV anymore. It was becoming reality crime drama. Betrayal. The family, once united by cattle and pride, began to fracture. Stephen Jr. accused his father of hiding financial ruin. Jesse blamed Galena for manipulating the patriarch. Cole, the quietest of the brothers, shocked everyone when he admitted he had spoken privately with FBI agents weeks before the raid. "You did what?" Stephen Jr. shouted, his face flushed with fury. "I'm not going down for this," Cole said calmly. "If Dad made mistakes, that's on him." For Steve Sr., it was the deepest cut yet, not from an agent, not from Galena, but from his own blood. Secrets that could change everything. The final secret, the one no one had yet dared to speak, was whispered in hushed tones by those closest to the family. It wasn't about cattle futures or offshore accounts. It was personal. Explosive. The kind of revelation that could redefine not just the McBee empire, but the very identities within it. Galena knew it, Kala suspected it, and deep down, Steve Sr. feared the day it would come to light. Because if the truth got out, the McBee empire wouldn't just collapse, it would disintegrate forever. The cliffhanger. As the Bravo cameras captured the family's latest dinner table explosion, voices raised, tears falling, silverware clattering, viewers at home couldn't know that what they were watching was only the tip of the iceberg. Secrets were waiting. Secrets that could topple legacies and careers, and even land McBees behind bars. For a dynasty built on land, cattle, and control, the present had become more dangerous than any drought or market crash. And the truth? It was coming. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates.